Hello again, back in the garage. Just having a bit of a go on the radiators. So we've got the one that was damaged in the rally, and that's the fan that was on it. And this is a E36 M3 radiator. I don't know what this fan's off, it was just one I had. This fan is huge compared to that one, but that rad is smaller. It's wider. I'm not sure what that is off. Someone said it looked like a transit rad. What I did notice with this, I don't know if I'll be able to do it while holding the camera. If I put a straight edge over it, it's actually the centre of the fan is hitting on the straight edge, well, number plate. So this is sticking out further than the fixing points, and the fixing points were slightly back from the edge of the rad, but you can see, I don't know if that's moved and come up more. It feels quite secure. I mean, I've done a few rallies in this car and never had this problem. It's just worn away and actually gone through the core, punctured the core, which has started leaking. So fair play to the Radwell, that was did a really good job. I don't think we would have got to the end otherwise if it hadn't been for that. So I've ordered some more next. That's Radwell has been in my toolkit for years, just in the off chance. I used to do beach racing, and if you had a hit another car, it's always the rad that went, so it used to pull you out of the trouble. So this now, what I've done is, this already had some bent brackets on it that just slip over the top of the rad. I've adjusted this one, drilled a hole through the aluminium on the bottom of the rad, and I made this bracket. I did put a cable tie. The bit where it was supposed to bolt onto is snapped off. It's obviously been an accident. So I've made a bit, I don't know if I've got a torch in here that can shine down there, but I haven't. Yeah, I've made like a T on the end of the steel, so it actually just slots into that to stop the rad from going anywhere, but there was nothing to stop it from moving up and down, so I just put a cable tie around there. And these have got like little rubber washers to soften it out a bit. Now this rad, the way they sit in the BMW is these are little rubber bungs, and they sit in a little rubber cup on the front part of the car. So I've just got some steel tube, I think it was this one I used, cut a shorter length than these, so it wouldn't be touching the bottom of the rad, and silicone them in the engine bay. I'll show you what I've done. I'll just clear these rads off the bonnet. In the engine bay, they're the bits of steel. This silicone is super hard stuff. That will stay there. Can't really see that one very well. I have got some brackets here. I have actually drilled some holes here, and the same the other side. And I've drilled some holes in the top of the rad where the original fixing point went in. So I'll drop it onto the cups at the bottom and then cable tie it to the top with some rubber bungs to keep it off the metal. Right, that's the rad in. I've made some little brackets up both sides. They're like rubber washers here, and these are little rubber bobbings. So it's all quite solid, but it's got a bit of movement, a bit of play in the rubber. This is a bit of fuel pipe that runs to the expansion tank, just because it was on this side before. so the pipe wasn't long enough. I've just put a bolt and a spacer to hold the expansion tank, because that one had come off, and also there's a bracket here that holds the coil pack on, which had snapped. So there's an earth cable, I don't know if you can see there, that was bolted to the bracket that had snapped. So luckily it must have been earthing through this bolt, so that carried on going, which was fortunate. Oh yes, this nut was loose, and I thought the threads had gone, purely because it needed to go, it's like a top hat, it goes inside the top mount, and it's a very fine thread. So I kept turning it, and I thought it's not tightening up, and I had a scrutineer over my shoulder the whole day. So I had to, I've ordered some new nuts, but it turns out that one's fine. I cleaned it up, put it back in, it's nice and tight now, so that's good. That's about it. Oh, the fan, I had to rewire the fan, so I've just tested that, and that works fine, because sometimes they go the wrong way, and if it's blowing instead of sucking, it's going to get hot. It's fighting the wind. Right, the bumper's sustained a bit of damage, but it's really muddy in there. I need to take it into the garden and give it a hose. It fits quite snugly onto the plastic bit that the original bumper sits onto, but I only had a couple of bolts either end securing it in place, so it dug in, hit the ground, dug in, and came off, and then got driven over. But I'm quite experienced at fixing fiberglass bumpers, so that shouldn't really be an issue. It's not my favourite thing because it's not nice to sand down, but I can get a bit of fiberglass matting on the inside of that. But I think there was a bit of damage somewhere else. Yeah, it's still on here. A bit of filler, new number plate, got that to stay. And then it's good to go. I'd rather get it done now rather than wait till just before the next rally. So I've got to take it down power wash because it needs a very good clean. But it's only mud, and it's also inside the wheel arches. What I might do is take my jack and my router gun, so I can take the wheels off, jack it up, and then give it a good power wash. Get the wheels all cleaned on the inside as well. And then it's in the garage now. I've moved the other car into the other garage. So it wasn't doing this one any favours being outside. Water gets in, and it's just starting to look tatty. So I've just got to put water in it, bleed the rad, and then drive it to the petrol station where the power washer is. Check everything all works all right, and yeah, should be good to go.